Last Sunday we completed chapter 9 of the Gita, and the last verse was a beautiful conclusion of the whole teachings of the 9th chapter. Manmana bhava, mat bhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, mame veshise yuktvante. This is a beautiful idea. Throughout the chapter it has been there. When we deal with the world of manifestation, we live in it. Our philosophy first said, renounce all this, negate all this. In some high state of samadhi, you will achieve spiritual realization. But how many can do it? And what shall we do with this world of manifestation? According to that school of thought, this is all an illusion. There is nothing worthwhile in it. Everything is there, and not here. In this 9th chapter, we began with the statement that this world of manifestation is divine. It has come from the divine. Therefore it is divine. We can live and work in this world. We can experience the divine in this world of life and work. We can practically demonstrate the truth of it in our day-to-day life. This is how the chapter began. And so, this 9th chapter, now the 10th and the 11th, all the three will deal with God as present in this manifested universe. The word Vibhuti is used to describe 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means manifestation. God in the manifested state. He was unmanifested, he is also manifested. Both are two aspects of the divine, the impersonal and the personal. They are one and the same, but two different approaches. As Ramakrishna would say, a snake coiled up is that impersonal state. The same snake started moving. It is the personal aspect of the divine. They are not two, but one. And because of this, we can live and work and yet attain spiritual realization. That was the philosophy developed in the 9th chapter. In fact, throughout the Gita, that is the basic philosophy. The idea comes only just a little in the beginning and a little reference to it in the 12th chapter. The transcendental, beyond the sensory level, the unmanifest, that path is mentioned. But the main stress is on the path to God through the world of manifestation. Therefore, in the end he said, Manmana bhava, fix your mind on me, I the infinite divine, incarnate as Krishna here. Fix your mind on me. Mat bhakto, be my devotee. Madhyaji, do sacrifices to me. Mam namaskuru, salute me. Mameva eshyasi, yuktvevam. When you have become a yogi of this type, you will certainly come to me. Say, na sanshaya. There is no doubt of that. Mame veshasi yuktvevam atmanam na sanshaya. There is the last particular sentence here. Mattarayanaha. When you make me the end of your goal of endeavor, you will certainly come unto me. So we do live our life, but we keep a great ideal in front of us, the divine, whose manifestation is this universe. Just like we keep the pole star to guide us in our ocean journey. I sang a song which Ramakrishna used to sing in Bengali. Tomake Koriachi Jivaner Dhruvatara. We have made you, O Lord, the pole star of our life. Then life gets a steadiness, a direction, an inner strength, that which includes jnana and karma. And so the last sloka devoted itself to this exhortation to the devotee. Manmana bhuva, madbhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, mameva eshyasi, yuktvaiva. When you are established like this, you will reach me only, matparayanaha, because you have kept me as the goal of your endeavor. Though you are walking here, you have got the great pole star guiding you. God is that pole star. He is this manifested in this universe. We are never away from Him all the time. Only if we can see clearly, we can see Him in everything here. In some of the highest poetry of world's literature, this idea is expressed again and again. Even purely nature poetry. We find, as Wordsworth would say, for I have learned to look on nature, not as in the hour of thoughtless youth, but hearing oftentimes the still sad music of humanity, not harsh, nor grating, but of ample power to chasten and to subdue. And I have felt a presence that disturbs me with the joy of elevating thoughts, whose presence is in the setting sun, in the round ocean, in the living air, and in the mind of man. This is the language of Wordsworth. Purely through nature poetry, you get this wonderful idea, this type of a vision. And very often, our Wordsworth also says that sometimes sends me into ecstasy, a state in which we are laid asleep in the body and become a living soul. These are his words. What's called ecstasy or samadhi. We are laid asleep in the body and become a living soul. When Vivekananda was a student in Calcutta, an English professor was teaching Wordsworth. There he referred to this experience of samadhi described by Wordsworth. And the professor said, this is a high state of mind. Very few achieve it. I know only one who has achieved it. That is Ramakrishna of Dakshineshwar. That is a reference Swamiji heard for the first time about Ramakrishna from that teacher. Hasty, Principal Hasty, his name. And he was only in the 7th or 8th class also at that time. Later on he was to go to that very Ramakrishna. So this is how these experiences are repeated in the lives of very sensitive people who can go through or see through this world's experience and feel the presence of something profound and divine within. That is the essence of bhakti. Through this kind of path, you continue to live, but that life gets a meaning, a significance. As Ramakrishna said, put a zero, it has no value. 2 zeros, no value. A string of zeros, no value. Put one behind, everything is full of value. What a beautiful idea. That one is this divine. So put him into everything. Then everything becomes meaningful, significant. That is the basis of bhakti in every religion. Christian bhakti, Hindu bhakti, Sufi bhakti, and Buddhist bhakti. In all these things you will find a profound divine essence is experienced all through life. Then only you can live a meaningful life. So, coming to the 10th chapter, where we enter today, you have this description of the world of manifestation, that one divine has become the many. How he has become? Through his yoga power. He has got a wonderful power that though he is one, he is also the many. That is the language that will be used hereafter. So it's called Vibhuti Yoga, yoga of God's Vibhutis, various manifestations. And it begins with Krishna's own statement. Sometimes Arjuna questions, the chapter begins. Sometimes Krishna himself continues. Here he himself opens the chapter. 10th chapter, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Sri Bhagavan said, Bhoya eva mahabaho shrinume paramam vachaha bhakto yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. Again, listen to me, O Arjuna. Bhuya. Bhuya means again. Shrinume paramam vachaha. Supreme word. Please listen. A word which contains tremendous meaning. That's called paramam vachaha. Speeches can be empty, mere sound and fury signifying nothing, as Shakespeare would say, or it can be profound, just like a beautiful beehive. You take that thing full of honey inside. Similarly, words full of profound meaning. So, paramam vachaha. Yatteham priyamanaya. I am conveying this to you because you are dear to me. Priyamanaya. Vakshyami hitakamyaya. In order to ensure your own welfare. Hitakamyaya. Name vidus suraganaha. Prabhavam na maharshayaha. Neither the gods nor the maharshis, great sages, know my origin. Say, Name vidus suraganaha. Prabhavam na maharshayaha. Cha maharshayaha. Aham adavihi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. I am prior to all devas and all maharshis. That is a beautiful idea expressed first in the Rigveda, in the Nasadiya Sukta. How could the gods know him? They are subsequent to creation. That is the language. He is beyond all this. So Krishna said, they do not know me. Even the various gods and various sages, they don't know my origin. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti lokamaheshwaram asammudhassa matyeshu sarva papaihi pramuchyate. Those who know me, yo mam ajam anadim cha. I am ajam and anadi. Ajam means unborn. There is no birth for the Supreme Divine. Other things have birth and death and change. This one is immortal, changeless, birthless. So, yo mam ajam, anadim, beginningless, anadim cha, veti lokamaheshwaram. Know me as the supreme ruler of the universe. The one guide and ruler of this universe is He. By His power, the world moves. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi and Gargi, particularly Gargi, by the power of that imperishable reality, the sun and moon go in their respective courses, all the streams flow in the direction towards the ocean. Like that, there is a great passage there. So here also, Krishna is referring to it. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti lokamaheshwaram, the supreme lord of the world. Asammudha samatyeshu. That person is certainly asammudha among all human beings. Mudha means a fool, deluded person. Asammudha means non-deluded person, without any delusion. In Sanskrit, mudha is the only abusive word we have. He is a fool, you say like that. That's all. But the other is asammudha, absolutely free from delusion, which is foolishness. Asammudhassa matyeshu sarvapapaihi pramuchyate. He becomes freed from all sins, all weaknesses, because he has understood this profound truth, the truth of all truths, you say. Buddhir jnanam asammoha Shama Satyam Damashamaha Sukham Dukkham Bhavo Bhavo Bhayancha Abhayamevacha Ahimsa Samita Tushti Tapodanam Yasho Ayashaha Bhavanti Bhava Bhutanam Matta Eva Prithagvidhaha. In 2 verses, he gives in summary that all these things come only from me, and these itemized things, they contain good, bad, indifferent, everything. All have come from the one. We don't have good things coming from a god, bad things coming from a devil. We don't have that at all in Vedanta. Everything has come from one infinite source. So what are the items? Intellect, buddhi, then jnana, knowledge, then asammudha, non-delusion. Similarly, forbearance, power to forbear, also comes from the divine. Truth, restraint of the external senses, calmness of heart, then happiness, misery, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-injury, non-violence, evenness of mind, contentment, austerity, benevolence, good name, and ill name, ill fame. These different kinds of qualities of all beings arise from me only. That is the bold statement in Vedanta. Not only the good, but what you call the evil also come from the same source. That is something outstanding in Vedantic thinking. Very often people say, how can evil come from God? As if evil and good are 2 absolute things. They are relative things only. What is good to one may be evil to another. What is good for you now may be evil to you a little later. So we never made a distinction, absolute, between good and evil. They are relative values. And we are seeing it every day today. Say, for example, we have carbon dioxide going out of us. They are evil to us. But they are very useful to the plants, to the trees. Very useful they are. Similarly, poison in a snake is no evil to the snake. It is only evil to one whom the snake bites. In the snake, it is part of itself. It is its own nature. And if you take a bit of it, you may stop your bleeding also. So in this way, we discovered ages ago, good and bad are relative. There is only one absolute, God Himself. These are all, in the course of manifestation, assumes different aspects as now good, then bad, etc., etc. The fire that burns a human being can also give you warmth when it is all cold winter. Fire is neither good nor bad. So everything in this world has its own status. So here, everything is mentioned here. Misery, suffering, not only joy, success, etc., etc. Everything comes from me. I gave the example some 2 Sundays ago of the article in the National Geographic magazine with the title, Sun is our mother. That everything in the solar system is condensation of solar radiation. Everything, the good, the bad, everything. That doesn't make the sun bad at all. Bad in the manifested is not bad in the original source. And so, the cloth you wear, the food that you take, the dirt that you find around you, the digestive power in you, all these are nothing but solar radiation manifestation. This is a wonderful idea. This is the basis of this Advaitic vision of the one behind the many. No two. No physical science can accept two behind the universe. No Vedanta can accept two behind the universe. There is only one. If you find many here, you must derive the many from the one itself. Have that boldness. These two verses give you that bold statement. Matta eva, he says, they come from me only, prithakvidhaha, in various forms. Then, maharshayas saptapurve, chatvaro manavastatha, madbhava manasa jata, yesham loka ima praja. This sloka contains allusions to our ancient mythology. That at the beginning of creation, first Brahma appeared, and then from that Brahma came the four Kumaras, then the Manus, then the various Rudras. All these things came from there. Those things are coming here in these verses. So a little of that background you have to know. But essentially it means that the whole universe has come from the divine. Here he says, Maharshaya Saptapurve, the 7 Maharshis. It is so common to all of us in India, the idea of the 7 Maharshi, what you call the bear, the 7 stars in the sky. The bear, we call it in modern language. They are called Sapta Rishis. 7 Rishis they are. So Maharshaya Sapta, Purve Chatvaro, the previous 4. In interpreting this previous 4, several interpretations have been given, not satisfactory at all. They will say 7 Manus, 4 Manus. How can there be 4? There are past 7 Manus and 7 Manus to come. So Tilak has given, after a thorough investigation, that here the 4 ancient mean the 4 Vyuhas, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, 4 manifestations of the divine. They are called the 4 Vyuhas. In the Narayaniya section of the Mahabharata, which is the inspiration for the Gita, you find these 4 Vyuhas coming. They are the 4. Nothing else can answer to this question. Number 4. So, Chatvaro Purve, the 4 previous ones. These 4 Vyuhas. Chatvaro. Manavastatha, the Manus. We had 7 Manus till now. Hereafter there will be another 7 Manus. 14 Manvantara makes for one particular age of the universe. So we had Swayambhuva Manu, then we had Vaivasvata Manu. The 7th is Vaivasvata. We are living in the age of the Vaivasvata Manu. Each Manu's age will be millions of years. So this is called the 7 Manus. Chatvaro Manavastatha, the Manus, namely 7. And hereafter 7 will come after a few million years. These are all time calculation in our philosophy and theology. Madbhava, they are all come from me only. Madbhava, manasa jata, born out of my mind. That projection of the mind, Brahma himself is a projection of the divine Narayana. So also these Manus as well as the 4 Vyuhas and the 7 Maharshis, all of them are divine mental projections. That is how earliest creation was mental. Absolutely subtle realities they were. Later on they become more and more concrete until you come to this concrete level. Now, in dealing with creation, this is the way modern astronomy also deals with it. That in the beginning it is all absolutely subtle. No differences between things in the beginning. Later on, every second, it becomes more and more concrete, more and more concrete, more and more differences appear until you get this fixed universe which you experience every day. This is such a diversity, whereas at the beginning it was absolute unity. They call it the point of singularity, is a technical term in astrophysics today, point of singularity. From there the explosion took place and one by one began to manifest. These differences were not there in the beginning. Atoms, molecules, or even electrons, protons, none of these were there. just energy, that's all. Later on, they become concretized into this and that. But in the beginning, there was just one only. And the whole universe has come from that one. And it will return back to that one also towards the end of this experience of manifestation. So, he says, yeah, Aham Adishya Devanam Maharshinam cha Savashah. I am the beginning of all these devas and Maharshi. Yo Mam Ajam Anadim cha Veti Lokamaheshwaram Asammodhassa Matyeshu Tapapapai Pramuchite. He has said, those who know me as the origin of all this universe, they become free from delusion. They become free. They become free. And so manifestations begin. Maharshaya Saptapurve Chatvaro Manavastatha Madbhava Manasa Jata. They are called mental creations. A wonderful idea. In fact, the whole universe was just pulsations of mind only, pure consciousness pulsation. There you can have differences. Later on they become condensation. Even in our day-to-day life, you act. Behind your action is mental pulsation. First you think, you decide, you desire, then you execute it into action. There you can see, therefore, the house that you see built, such a solid house. Where was it before? In your mind, your conception. This house must come. Then you prepare the plan. Then you build it up. So in all these experiences you will find the subtle precedes the gross. And later on, the subtle will follow the gross in the inverse process. When the world is being wound up, evolution becomes involution, going backwards as it were. Just like in today's physics we say, explosion made for the manifestation of the universe. Implosion will make for the return of the many into the one once again. So, Madbhava Manasa Jata Yesham Prajaha Etam Vibhutim Yogam cha Mama Yovete Tattvataha. So, Avikampena Yogena Yujyate Natra Samshayah. That verse 7 says there, such a person who knows this truth, he develops Avikampa Yoga. Yoga which cannot be shaken. Kampa means shaking. Avikampa means shake without any shake. Absolutely steady. That's what we seek. A steady mind, a steady buddhi, steady life. Not shaking. A little breeze blows, go on shaking. Not at all. We are going to be strong and steady. So that person has achieved Avikampa Yoga, unshakable yoga. How? Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha. Those who know truly, as it is in itself, this my yoga, vibhuti and yoga, this manifestation of mind as the universe, and the power that made for that manifestation. Vibhuti means manifestation. Yoga means the power that made for that manifestation. Those who understand this truth, etam vibhutim yogam cha, mama, mind, yo veti, who understands, tattvataha, truly, saha, such a person, abhikampena yogena, he has achieved the unshakable yoga, yujyate, natra samshayah. There is no doubt at all that he has achieved that abhikampa yoga, a steady mind. A steady mind is reflected in one aspect of the human physical individuality, namely the eye. When the eye is steady, you must take for granted the mind is steady. If the eye is unsteady, mind also is unsteady. The eye is the index of the mind. The face itself is the index of the soul, according to Shakespeare, and we all accept it. And the eye is a great index of the state of the mind. Calm and steady eyes mean calm and steady mind. And so, Abhikampa Yoga we can achieve by this kind of understanding, we become absolutely steady. Natra samshayaha. There is no doubt. There is no doubt. So it is good for us to struggle to develop that kind of steadiness, and the eye also calm and steady. It's a wonderful achievement. It doesn't come by itself. We have to work for it. That is how we try to fulfill our life. So this is a important verse. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yoveti tattvataha. Those who understand it truly, says. So abhikampena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. He becomes endowed with that unshakable yoga. There is no doubt about it, he says. Then Krishna says in verse 8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the origin of everything in this universe. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Yes. Whatever you see in a tree, leaves, twigs, branches, then flowers and fruits, all of them originate from the seed. So this is the origin of everything. Myself, the infinite divine. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Matta sarvam pravartate. From me, all things emanate. Pravartate, manifest or emanate. Matta sarvam pravartate. Iti matva. Knowing thus, bhajante mam buddha. Wise people worship me with this knowledge. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha. Buddha means wise people. Bhava samanvitaha. What kind of wise people? With loving consciousness. Bhava, emotional, love. Bhakti. This is the nature of bhakti. You can have a non-bhakti consciousness also, worship also. But in this path of bhakti, this kind of loving consciousness is essential. It makes you rich with feeling. This is the difference between an austere philosophy, say for example Marcus Aurelius' philosophy, Roman emperor. Very austere philosophy it is. So also in our country we have plenty of such austere schools of philosophy. The other, very, very human, full of emotion, capacity to love and to receive love. That is a richer human personality. That music of life is sweeter than the other music, which is rather dry at a certain level. At the highest level, it may be perfectly fine, but at a lower level, it appears to be more dry. Between these two, Sri Ramakrishna used to give an illustration. You can take the illustration and make your own meaning out of it. He said, in the temple of Dakshineshwar, they play music. One man takes a pipe and goes on and simply making a sound, the drone as we call it in musical language, just a drone, the background music. The other man has got another musical instrument with 7 holes and he produces 7 notes out of it. This is only one note, that is 7 note, which is more beautiful. The 7 note is more beautiful. The drone, you don't like to hear it longer. For a short time it is all right. So here you have this bhakti as the fulfillment of jnana, manifesting in action. That complete human life you get here. There is joy in it. There is variety in it. That's why Ramakrishna compares it with the saptaswara instrument. The other is ekaswara instrument called the drone. So, a jnani is, as usually understood in our Vedantic tradition, is of that nature, very dry. Can't feel any joy for anything. If you look at a baby's face, oh, it's all a piece of maya. I don't find anything worthwhile in it. We'll say, can't enjoy the face of a child, the smile of a child, the beauty of the sun, beauty of the earth, all these things. Why? Oh, these are all delusions. one transcendental reality alone is real. There you will find this kind of drone music. The other is Saptaswara, beautiful music, rich, fine. The best bhakti of India and the best bhakti of all other religions belong to this category. Richness, diversity, and intense humanity. That is the religion the Gita expounds. Intensely human. Krishna himself was such a person, a very rich heart, rich human feelings, responding to human situations. Today, Sri Ramakrishna, full of joy, a religion of joy, nothing forbidding about that person. An austere person you cannot go near, you are afraid of him. Just in our houses we have seen two types of people. An uncle, very austere, children are afraid of him, won't go near even. There are other people whom children go to because they are very pleasing, with a smile and all that. Two types you can see. In this case, this bhakti will turn out millions and millions of people, intensely human, with a capacity to love and to be loved. That is the description given in this chapter, and the whole Gita is based upon that kind of outlook. Intensely human, and we can dig affections in others, make others dig affections in you. This is the type of bhakti that Krishna is preaching, and yet it is based on the highest jnana, the supremely divine principle behind this universe. That is always affirmed. And so, jnana, bhakti and karma all combined together. That is the integrated yoga of the Gita. Here referred to it, jnanam vijnana sahitam. Jnanam along with vijnana means experience, day-to-day experience. That jnana which finds expression in day-to-day experience, in human relationship, etc. That is what I am going to expound to you, he has said in that chapter. So here, the Vibhuti chapter has importance from this point of view. What is called Maya in that particular school of Vedanta is called the glory of the divine, the manifestation of the divine in the form of this nature around you. In the Rig Veda, this idea had started very early. There is a beautiful mantra which says, Yasyete himavanto mahitva, whose glory through these Himalayas proclaim. See the poetic approach. The glory of the Himalayas. Whose glory does it proclaim? That supreme divine reality behind this universe. It is His glory that you see in this wonderful Himalayas. So, Yasyete himavanto mahitva. He is going to end up this chapter, the last verse, 44 or so, 42 or 44, last sloka, that wherever you see extraordinary power manifesting and uplifting humanity, know my power is manifest there. It gives you complete freedom to see the divine in any type of manifestation, any part of the world. That is going to be a big conclusion of this chapter of Vibhuti. Say, for example, if you see a Gandhiji manifesting enormous power to build up humanity, to release the people from slavery, and to increase love and non-violence in society, tremendous power we saw, millions moving by a single word. That power is mine, Krishna says. My power is there. You can see the same thing in a person like Abraham Lincoln. Anyone, any part of the world. These are the people who show the extremely divine power that is manifested in the universe. He is manifested through a few individuals here and there. Salute them. There is divine power manifested in them. In that way, he will conclude this chapter. And so, he says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the origin of all this universe. Mattas sarvam pravartate. Everything comes from me. Iti madhva bhajante ma. Knowing this, they worship me. Buddha, the wise people. Bhava samanyutaha, full of love in their hearts. Divine love is in their hearts. They are not dry. That is one thing we must remember. A living human personality, full of concern for others. You can go near and feel happy in his company. That kind of a rich human personality, emotionally rich. Any system that destroys the emotions of man will destroy man himself. Without emotion, there is no meaning in human life. Famous neurologist of England, Sherrington, says, can a bird build a nest without the power of emotion? He is asking. Even the animal, the bird, just building nest, bringing a piece of wood or a small branch and putting it in a corner. Again bringing another, making it. What is that impelling it to do it? That emotion, the baby that is to come, the house to be provided. That emotion makes the child, make the bird do all this work. You remove it, next day again she does. You remove it, again she does. That is where you can see the power of emotion. In fact, actually, the best work you do only when you have emotion impelling you to work. If you are merely a dry intellectual knowledge, you can't do any work efficiently. Efficiency and energy come from emotion, not from knowledge. Knowledge has no particular direction. It is there, that is all. But the real impulse comes from the emotion. There is something to be done. I have to go to the market, bring food for the children, or bring medicine to the patient. That emotion makes you work at your highest and best. Take that emotion away, you become callous, absolutely callous. In fact, that's what we call in ordinary language development of the heart. The brain and the heart. The brain you may develop, but you will be a very dry fellow if there is no heart along with the brain. That has been our misfortune for a few centuries. We developed the brain, we just left the heart as it is. Very, very contracted heart. No concern. Even now you find millions of us without any concern for others. There is no heart at all. Only I. Such a person gets modern education. That makes him much worse. Without education, he would have been much less troublesome. With education, he becomes a more nuisance to society. So Vivekananda said, develop the heart. Expand your heart. Let your emotions function. A sense of concern for others. Loving. Spirit of service. And then intelligence behind all this. That will be wonderful. In this Gita Bhakti, you get both intelligence and emotion fused together. That's the nature of buddhi. Buddhi is a great value where intellect, emotion and will become fused together into a highly efficient character. Krishna will tell a few verses later, those whom I wish to bless, I give them that buddhi. Dadami buddhi yogantam. Yeraman upayantite. By which they find their way to me themselves. I did not help them further. I have given them the best instrument, buddhi, to make for success in life in any department. That is the language that he will use some verses later. And so, Matchitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Kathayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanticha, Ramanticha. Such people who have that purified buddhi, whose emotion and will and intellect have been fused together, they are a special type of people. Matchitta, their chitta or mind has been fixed on me. Matchitta, Madgata Prana, their whole bioenergy and psychic energy have also been directed towards me. Matchitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam. They enlighten each other. When two such people meet together, one will enlighten the other. That is the nature of their acquisition, and not pulling each other down. Bodhayanta parasparam, enlightening each other. Kathayantascha mam nityam, constantly speaking about me, the one behind the many. They are dealing with the many. They talk about the one behind the many, to give value to the many. Kathayantascha mam nityam. Then, tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. They enjoy and get satisfaction and delight. Their life is a continuous satisfaction, continuous delight. Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. The wonderful idea, joy, to be a permanent feature of human life. How? By this method it can be. In the beginning of this 9th chapter, I said, once I spoke in a house in Calcutta, a parlor talk, with the title, Ecstasy in Daily Life, based upon this 9th chapter. How to make day-to-day life also a matter of ecstasy. Don't wait for some future religious ecstasy. In day-to-day life also, you can have that sense of ecstasy. That is the meaning of this. Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. When these conditions are satisfied, your life will be a constant sense of joy, constant sense of satisfaction. What a beautiful idea. In one of the spiritual books of India, Gita probably, there is a verse. I like it very much, and I found it just the best description of Sri Ramakrishna in our time. In the Gospel of Ramakrishna you will find Sri Ramakrishna's room is a market of joy. That's the language he has used there. Full of joy, always radiating joy. Majar kuti, in Bengali is called Majar kuti. The kuti for Maja, hope, happiness, pleasure, joy. What kind of? A profoundly elevating type of joy, and constant. Not that at any time it is being broken, not at all. A continuous market of joy. He says there, sloka says, Nityotsavam bhavatyesham, Nitya Shri, Nitya Mangalam, Yesham Hridistho Bhagavan, Mangalayatano Harihi. A profound verse. To that person in whose heart Lord Hari has manifested, Hari is that supreme divine reality that is in the heart of all beings, but only unmanifested in all of us. But where he manifests, Hari is also Narayana, Krishna, all these words are the same. These are mere words. The truth is that infinite divine from whom whole universe has come. Naturally, he is in everything in this universe. In you and me, he is there, but no manifestation. And so if you can manifest it, what will happen? He says, Mangalayatano Harihi. Hari is the abode of all that is good and auspicious. Mangala. Mangalanam cha Mangalam. Hari is the center of all auspicious qualities. If that Hari manifests in your heart, what happens to your life? Nityotsavam bhavatyesham. Your life becomes a perpetual utsava, festival. Nityotsavam. Nitya Shri. The Shri manifests every minute in your life. Nitya Mangalam. Everything Mangala also comes in your life. When? Yesham Hridistho Bhagavan Mangalayatano Harihi. This Bhagavan Hari, who is Mangalayatana, himself has entered into your heart, manifested there. Then every minute will be a life of joy. Some of the mystics have shown that continuous joy, as if something welling up from within. You can read the Sufi mystics, Christian mystics, our own mystics. So many types you will find. They have experienced this reality. That is why full of joy. They radiate joy all round. So that is how this is a profound experience. A few attain, but many can try and come a little closer, a little closer, a little closer. But it is possible that this human life can be made really joyous and beautiful when Hari manifests in the heart of man. At present, he is not manifest. Only our own ego is manifest there. We have to shed this ego through a spirit of service. Service is the best means to shed the ego. It's a wonderful teaching. By doing a life of service, we reduce the ego to thin proportion. And as the ego becomes less and less, the divine becomes more and more in the heart of man. Somebody said, in the Bible it is written, let thy kingdom come. Every day we pray, let thy kingdom come. We go on repeating it hundreds of times, yet kingdom doesn't come at all. What is the reason? And he gave the answer. The corollary has not been achieved. What is that? Let my kingdom go, then only his kingdom will come. If this little I must go, then the divine will manifest himself in the heart. So let my kingdom go, let thy kingdom come. But somehow or other, in our day-to-day religious life, it is my kingdom all the time. No place for his kingdom at all. Even when you go to the temple, you lecture to God there all the time. You don't hear what God has to say. Noise, noise, noise. How can his kingdom come unless the conditions are satisfied? This kingdom must go. Be silent. When you go to any temple, immediately become silent, inward, try to listen to what the Lord has to say to you. Learning to listen is a great thing in spiritual life. So silence is wonderful. The first step in yoga, says Shankaracharya, is silence of speech. Yogasya prathamam dwaram vang nirodho. In the Viveka Chudamani, Shankara says, the opening door to yoga is silence, control of speech. That is what we have lost for centuries together. Most talkative nation, chattering all the time everywhere. Now it has to change now. More thinking, more feeling, less talking. More working hard with the hand than talking. At present it is all talking, so little feeling, so little work, so little thinking. That is what we are in a decadent state. So this idea that we can expose our heart to the manifestation of the divine within and experience that fullness of joy, that fulfillment, that is something wonderful. We can watch any of these mystics and see what joy there is. The real mystics are full of joy. Bhakti mystics, full of joy. They have got humor also. Not at all humorless people. Good humor. One of the mystics, Sufi mystic I very much liked, was Sharmad. In Aurangzeb's time, Aurangzeb decided to kill him because he is a mystic. They don't like mystics. So he was put down to be killed. Then he wrote a poem at that time. There also is humor. He is to face death. He says, O Lord, thou hast given me a troublesome headache for a long time. I didn't know what to do with it. Now you have found a remedy for it. Cut off the head, headache also goes away. That song is there. Sharma's song. So they have got humor. They are very living, very human. That is the nature of this bhakti. That infinite divine in the heart of all. The Antaryamin. This infinite Atman in the heart of all beings. Center of all love and purity. A flower is connected with another flower through a thread. Several flowers make for a garland. That is unity. What makes it unity? That thread. That thread that is invisible, but connecting flower to flower. God is that invisible thread, connecting all of us. That thread has been discovered by the mystic. Anybody can discover in your own life. You are a housewife, You are a laborer, you are a clerk somewhere. You can also discover this truth, the thread that unites all of us. And living in that awareness, you are absolutely different from what you are today. The unfulfillment which you have now will not be there in that state. That is the meaning of that great verse. Nityotsavam. We have only Utsavam once a year during Deepavali. The rest of the time it is all hard life, no joy, and somehow or other try to get some joy by outside means. Take some drink or some drugs to get some joy. A little kick from outside. That's what people do usually. But you have the capacity within. Why don't you know it? This country was very much blessed by this message of bhakti, both north and south, everywhere. The result is, even the common people, even though they are poor, their life is not dismal. Their life is not dry. They are intensely human. They can smile. That's a wonderful idea. They are hospitable, though they are poor. This is the great gift of bhakti. And most of them never knew what is called a drink, wine or any such thing, because they had this wonderful drink of name of God, Nama, Ruchi, Name Ruchi. That is what has saved India for centuries together. That we are taking away from people now. And the result is, we want external kicks, all sorts of kicks from outside. We don't want to remain joyless. Since I don't get it from within, I will ask for without. So we go out, we try to get this and that, and then you cannot do it with your own income, so you begin to steal, you become corrupt. All these things come one after the other. And as against all this, here is the possibility. We have seen it before also. How few people have heard about drink. Now most people are full of drink today. Very progressive people we have become according to some people. This is called progress. But that is very unfortunate. This bhakti alone can fill the heart with the purest joy. And its repercussions on human life is simply marvelous. Everything else can weaken you. This alone can really strengthen you. That is the message coming through this great book, the Gita, very rationally presented in these 700 verses. We shall continue this chapter next Sunday when we meet here. Today is Ekadashi. There is Ram Nam Sankirtan in the temple as usual. We'll spend a minute in silence and then disperse.